Hello fellow duelists, let's get right into this deck profile, shall we? So you guys already know your Mathmech players. I'm going to skip over some of this stuff or very lightly touch on it. So 3 Balancer Lords is standard for this deck. Double summon, banish to special summon, you guys get the gist. 2 of these Mathmech divisions. Key for extension, key for dividing the opponent's attack monster in half and getting that OTK. 3 free special summon tuner. 3 Mathmech Nobla to help you with your second turn OTK, also to help you with your first turn plays to get into your Cyber's Wicket, and also to help you synchro summon into your Mathmech Processor Magma. It's a great card, and you can bring out the Sigma so you can set yourself up for your third turn win, and get a search with Delimbertion. Great tuner. 3 more special summons that are free here. 3 more special summons that are free here as well. Preferably I like Subtra, just because it helps you get the win faster. But sometimes Mathmech Adion is needed just to help you get the extra summon. And very occasionally, I'll find myself using it on a final Sigma to pump it up to 7,000 attack to push over my opponent's larger monsters for game. Multiplier, times by 2, makes sense. Firewall Guardian, I see a lot of people running this at 3, or some sort of equivalent clock, wyvern, or cyber gadget. I prefer Firewall Guardian for a couple of reasons. One is that he brings himself back from the graveyard when he's used as a link summon, so you can go into almost full combo with him. You can bring out a field with Cyber's Wicked, special summoning the Link Karibo, getting the Cyber's Wicked effect to banish to add the Nobla to hand. But by himself, that's where the combo ends. It's not a bad combo, but it's somewhat incomplete. But we'll get into how we fix that in a second. But the reason I like him as well, I like him as an extender, because if I do have other cards, like if I draw the Balancer Lord, I also draw this Firewall Guardian, I can go into the Link Disciple, Link Devotee play, and then still have him on board, and then I can either Pixie summon him with one of these 9 cards, and he'll become a Delimbertion, which is a faster way to search that trap, the Super Factorial. So that's how I extend with him. Also, it's great if you use these 2. I find myself using these 2 a lot in that combo, that extension. Detaching them both, and neither of them are banished. And because neither of them are banished, he'll be able to use his secondary effect, which is rare, but it still happens, which allows you to make an opponent's Link monster 0 when battling with them, if you're battling with another Link monster. So I've actually used this to prevent getting OTK'd with a Bowl Sword attacking into my Cyber's Wicket. I made the guy's attack 0, and he rage quit, so that's a video I didn't share with you guys, just because I prefer not to share too many rage quit videos. 2 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, that's pretty standard. 2 Monster Reborn of the Mathmech variety. 3 Pot of Desires, just sometimes you need that extension. If you've already pushed through 2 or 3 hand traps, you really could use it. 3 Cyanide Mining, great searcher card. I was asked if we could substitute it. You can substitute it with Cyber's Backdoor, and it works surprisingly well. I did a few test duels with it, but it's just not as good as having the cards you want in that turn right away. Foolish Barrel, this is how you can unbrick a Firewall Guardian but no Balancer Lord play, and still go into a first turn full combo. Because if you Foolish Burial the Balancer Lord, now when you special summon that Link Karibo to the Cyber's Wicked Link marker, you have a Balancer Lord to banish, so when you search that Nobla, you in fact can special summon it, and then continue comboing off. People don't run this, I don't know why. It's a free special summon even if you don't want to combo that way, for Sigma, or it's a free halving of attack points, or free doubling of attack points, or free double attack. I don't know why people don't run Foolish Barrel. 3 Twin Twisters is non-negotiable. You have to run 3. Sky Strikers is our hardest matchup. I have struggled the most against them. And just getting that general spell of trap removal is what's going to hurt us. I may sound overconfident when I say, oh yeah, we can push through a bunch of hand traps. We really can. But something we cannot push through is a bunch of Solemn Negates or otherwise Widow Anchors, cards that are actual spell trap disruptions. So you need the Twin Twisters. I only run one Mathmech Divider. It's probably better at 2 in real life, I'm not sure, but the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro RNG gods always make me brick with it. Running it at 1 is never bad, even when I draw it. And its ability, you'll see in the monstrous duel, I was able to equip it after getting stopped too many times. I was able to still stack into a Dillenburschen and search for the actual equip spell itself, equip it to that Dillenburschen, attack over an opponent's monster, get a burial of a Mathmech division, and then when I would use his effect, Dillenburschen, to special summon, it breaks the equip spell and then triggers its effects to add me a card back to hand. So I had 3 Mathmechs in the graveyard already, I believe, in that duel, but when I broke, one of them was Nabla that got stopped, and I wanted that Nabla back in my hand for the next turn. So I attacked into my opponent's monster, sent the division, so I still maintain that 3-card integrity for the Super Factorial, and when I broke him to special summon, I got that Nabla back, and that was a key play for me. Running it at 2 is important. 2 impermanents, monster effect negation, calm negation, 2 evenly, Sky Striker hate mostly, but it's just good for hitting a lot of decks. And then 2 super factorial, because who doesn't want to trish your opponent during their turn. 2 final sigma, sometimes I actually need to do 2, in the monstrous duel you'll see I failed to OTK the first time, and I had to go in for round 2. So it's just helpful. 2 of these guys, you could run 1, I like 2 for right now until some new support comes out. Popping 2 cards is great, especially when combined with Dark Ruler and more. You can get over an opponent's entire negate board and they have nothing left, 2 cards in their extra deck maybe. Like I said, these guys are non-negotiable too, you need the searches, especially for prolonged games. You can't assume you're just going to OTK all the time, sometimes you do get into some tough games. Laplashian. This card I love to run at 2, people run it at 1, I disagree. Because being able to trish your opponent twice is sometimes key. They have a lot of resources, a lot of 1-card combos are out there now, and using this during the battle phase especially is great. And using it in tandem with Cyber's Wicked is amazing, because you can chain block with Cyber's Wicked, you can protect it with Cyber's Wicked, you can send all those cards your opponent controls to the grave, and you can search a Nabla or a Sigma to hand. Dark Fluid. You will almost never use this card, but when you need it, you need it. A Link 5 used to be pretty much only used in super late game, when you've utilized most of your other resources and all you can do is summon from the main deck, you know, to try to get over your opponent's effects, or maybe he's banished your final Sigmas with a Ghost Reaper, which happened to me one time, believe it or not. So this card was great for ending the game in those particular niche circumstances. Also niche circumstances, Code Talker. Why run this if I'm not running the microcoder engine? Because, just like in the monstrous duel, ending on a final Sigma isn't always a good thing. There are decks that cannot get over it, and it's great. But the decks that can get over it, or kaiju it, they guarantee that you're going to lose. Whereas if you link away your final Sigma after a failed OTK into a Code Talker, and have that super factorial set up, you will always be able to counter your opponent during their turn, and also pump up the attack of the Code Talker to boot, and survive the turn, and then tribute him off for a second type round at the OTK. L-Phase, I use this instead of inverted Code Talker, 1, because we don't know when it's going to come out, but 2, because it's able to bring back a level 4 Cyberus if it's used, or just leaves the field for any reason, and it's a 2000 attack point link 2, which I just thought was cool. Standard engine, you guys can watch my myriad of videos to see how this works. Cyberus Wicked, Link Disciple, Link Devotee, and Link Kuriboh all together. And then the side deck is incomplete, but these are some cards you guys should definitely pay attention to. Spell Cancelers, like I said, Sky Striker hate. Sky Strikers will hurt us. And this card's amazing because it comes out and is Jinzo. So your opponent who plays Sky Strikers will never Widow Anchor your first special summon. You have 9 free special summons here. If you don't have it, you have 6 more searches for it. 7, we'll say. Simply get one of those cards in your hand, special summon it out for free, and then tribute summon. And that's it. Your opponent's entire spell board is negated, they can't activate any other spells, and essentially the deck is shut down. Shizuku kinda semi-counters this card, and if your opponent has, there can only be 1, that could be troublesome. But other side cards can deal with that. And, you know, if it happens, it happens. Duels are unpredictable. Earth Golem Attic Mister, I love this card. This is a great super poly target, namely because you always will have a Cyber's monster even if your opponent does not, and they will almost always have a Link monster even if you do not. After he's fusion summon, you take no damage for the rest of the turn, so if you use this during your opponent's turn at the right moment, especially if you can save it to the battle phase, that's the best time, then you disrupt their entire turn and essentially say, sorry, no matter what you did this turn, it's meaningless, because I take no damage. And the monster stands up on his own against other monsters. And if nothing else, you'll prevent that damage, and then next turn you can tribute him off, and go into your OTK. 2 Dark Ruler no more. You could run out of 3, I'm not going to be picky about this, I just find that a lot of solemn cards, or counter traps stopping this card now, people are preparing for it a little bit more, but not to say it wouldn't still work, it's a great card. Imperial Order, of course, Sky Striker, hey, self-explanatory. Gravity Collapse. This may be a card you're not aware of. Activate by sending one face-up synchro monster you control to the graveyard when your opponent summons a monster. Singular. Negate the summon and destroy that card. Your opponent cannot summon a monster until the end phase of this turn. If you can wait until your opponent summons his first monster, and then let him summon a second monster and on the second monster negate that summon, you've almost guaranteed your victory. Because now you've stopped their entire combo for the turn, counter trap, and then most likely that first monster has less than 2000 attack, so it's a simple final Sigma attack into game. And then finally Red Reboot, because traps mess you up, like we explained earlier. There can only be one being run in the main for Sky Strikers now. It's atrocious. Altergeist players, they have a lot of traps too, things like that, you just never really know. But running it in the main is actually very bricky. That's why I run evenly matched instead. It hits a wider variety of decks. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thanks guys.